deaf guy, the deaf guy, yeah. I remember you from the bar. And he said, okay, I need you to come tell us what's going on in Arizona with respect to biomass utilization. And my response is, you would think, well, that shouldn't take very long. But then I got to thinking about it, and maybe some things are going on. I believe that everything that is happening right now in Arizona is a direct function of what happened in the summer of 2002. And that was the Rodeo Chetasky fire, where we burned up 467,000 acres on the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest. I think if we hadn't done that, we would still be doing nothing. I don't think we would have done anything until that happened. Although they might be excited now, since we just burned up another 500,000 in the wildfire. But we would be 10 years behind, and now we burned up over 1 million acres, and so we decided maybe we should do something. I believe, that's my opinion, I think that's why we're doing anything in Arizona. Okay, what are we doing with respect to biomass? I got some pictures for you. Let's see. Snowflake. Snowflake, Arizona is just north of Sholom, Ledside, Pine Top. They have a plant out there that utilizes, I think he told me, anything that'll burn. They bring stuff all the way from Phoenix. They use urban waste. They burn recycled paper. And he said he'd love to he'd use all the juniper he could get his hands on. He sits in a sea of juniper. And he can't get his hands on any. How come? Well, we'll talk about that. And then let me hand out a couple little, I brought you pictures. You can't do anything without pictures. I didn't bring enough for everybody. I didn't know how many would be here. Just send those around. And this too. They use, I think they produce 27 megawatts at this plant. And I asked them, and they use 2 megawatts of energy to produce 27. Because I asked them, well, how much are you using to do this? And I said, okay, so you just use your own energy. He says, oh no, we can't afford to use ours. He says, here's what we do. We bring in brown energy and put out green energy. I said, how does this work? I mean, what are you talking about? They purchase the energy they need to run this operation from APS, Arizona Public Service, because it's cheaper than what they sell back to APS. However, we've talked to numerous, y'all, yesterday, today, in Arizona, X percent, I think it's 15 to 25%, something like that, of energy produced by these people in Arizona by 2025, something's trying to eat me, has to be from renewable sources. So they get a break on it, and they sell it back, put it right straight back into the line to APS. APS meets their requirement. These guys work. Now, you'll see a picture of a blob of stuff. Okay, that is the sludge from a paper recycling operation that's right next door to it. It comes out kind of wet, and they pile it out there and dry it. And I think 25% of everything they burned was the sludge. That operation just quit the paper recycle. They just went belly up. And so they may be in a bind. This place has already been through bankruptcy once, and they've come out of it, and we're doing well again. So now I don't know what the situation's going to be. And I think there's a little story about it probably in there somewhere. I don't know. So that's Snowflake now, and they're sitting in. You can drive. I don't know if you're familiar with Arizona, but you know we claim to have the largest continuous stand of ponderosa pine on the planet Earth. But it's getting less continuous and smaller all the time because we keep burning it up. But to the north of the pine is PJ. From Williams all the way across Arizona, all the way across New Mexico to I-25 is juniper. PJ, pinyon juniper. They sit right there, but they can't get any PJ. the only place they're being able to get it is from private lands right now. Why not? Yeah, and we talked about government. I have another one somewhere. Maybe this is why not. Never know. Anyway, that's the Apache Sickreaves. But I think they're going to try to do something. We're going to try to do something. I talked with the range ecologist on the A-Bar-S last week, and he brought his motorcycle over. We were going for a ride there to have something done to it, so we went to lunch. Had a little wine and got to talking. And, he's been complaining for a long time that he needs to do grassland restoration, and all of his grasslands have been encroached by juniper and everything. I said, well, why don't we do that? I mean, I got a biomass energy plant down the road here. Would love to get all he can. He says he can get all he can get his hands on, but I'm not sure he means that. I think he means all he can afford. And so it's gonna. I don't know what he wants to pay for. Anyway, so I've got the Apache Sickreaves interested. We're gonna put in for a rec grant to start doing some stuff, and we got a couple other people want to kick in some money. So maybe we're gonna start trying to do that. And of course, if it's a rec grant, we got to have a lot of monitoring, make sure what we do is indeed ecologically a good idea. That's okay. That's snowflake. What else?
Yeah, explain that thing too.
Yeah. That was painted by George Tucker in 1956. He's one of my all-time favorite painters. I'm not sure much has changed. Okay. There's a place just south of Williams, and it's on the Prescott National Forest. And they put in a cement plant. And it's near Paulden, the Drake cement plant. And I got some info on that baby. Hang on here. They got a, here we go. They got a back when there was such a thing as a, American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. They got $1.2 million grant to go out and try to figure out the best way, most efficient way, from an engineering, operation, economic perspective to, cut, chip, haul, provide biomass to the Drake cement place to start replacing, because they burn coal. They're going to use coal, so I don't know if they're going to mix it. I think you can mix it with torrefied wood. I don't think they've made those decisions yet. But they spent, and if were any of you guys at the Smallwood conference? He spoke there. And they're supposed to have out this report that tells us everything. I called him before I came here. It isn't there yet. No report yet. But that's part of...
I've got most of those results if you want them.
Cool. I want them.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they looked at chaparral, like they got flailers and balers, and they're looking at ponderosa pine, and they're looking at peach, pinyon, juniper. They also, they're in a place, there's a publication in 1921, and I think it was in Journal of Forestry by a guy named Miller, and he was at a place called Wagon Tire Flat. Actually, these publications started to notice this in encroaching. The first pub I found on it was in 1912. So 100 years, people have been starting to recognize this and publishing, and here we got it. And where was I? Oh yeah, Wagon Tire Flat, and he was saying, hey man, I got all these junipers out here in this grassland. What's going on here? They're coming in like crazy. Well, Wagon Tire Flat, it happens to be where the Drake cement plant is today. And for as far as you can see, it's nothing but this. And it was a grassland. What else do I want to tell you about these guys? Oh, juniper. Oh, ponderosa pine. They're also looking at ponderosa pine. And that would have been really good. Here's one of the, pass these around. These are, I think this is their favorite toy for, I don't know what Lance thinks of it. I think I sent him a picture.
He's up there. Yeah, he's getting the
They've been running around out there with a, I think it's a, what do you call them, a hot saw? in a big giant grappler widget, and they cut it and pick these trees up and take them over. And there's a picture of the machine. It's really big and noisy, and it's kind of neat. They're using that on the PJ. It's flat out there for as long as you can see. Now, ponderosa pine. That brings me to the next one. That is, have you heard of the? These guys. I have some data. They want to use. It's going to require 15,000 acres a year of biomass to run that cement plant. That's a lot. And at around 5 tons per acre. So that's, they're going to run 65 to 75,000 bone-dry tons a year if they do this. That's a lot of biomass. They were going to, ponderosa was one of the things they were considering also. We got plenty of it on the Kaibab National Forest, and we just cranked out a draft plan and a draft EIS, and it got through the comment period, and nobody, doesn't look like they're going to sue us yet. And we plan on thinning at least 15,000 acres of ponderosa pine, and there would be a lot there. There's also a thing, he talked about it, Steve Willen talked about it yesterday, the Forest Restoration Initiative. Familiar with that one?
Yes.
Okay. That really probably started, really kind of got going right after the Rodeo Chetasky fire. And then right after they passed the stewardship contracting. And then we tried White Mountain Stewardship, and he talked about that. Okay, and over time we realized we can't keep paying $500 an acre and expect to get anything done. So we need this big giant stewardship contract. Do you need me to be quiet?
2 minutes.
Okay, Forest Restoration Initiative is, they're going to do at least 30,000 acres a year in ponderosa pine. That produces, and they're going to produce 80,000 tons of biomass. They have to figure in the contract, how do we use this? They're trying to figure out how to use this. The Pioneer Group, I know they're looking at turning it all into diesel. And they're going to be in Winslow. Turn it into diesel and use it in all their trucks. Think about it. What is it? What's the rule of thumb? One truckload, 25 tons per acre. One truckload, 30,000 trucks. We haven't seen a logging truck in Arizona in a while. Some people are going to go, what in the heck is going on here? Anyway, and there's going to be a lot of biomass, so they're looking at that. They also were trying to hook up with Drake and said, you need biomass, but to run this, but Drake just keeps, I think the train's going to leave the station for Drake, because I don't think they got it together yet. And one other thing, I hooked them up with Arizona Public Service. They have a coal-fired plant 20 miles down I-40 from Winslow. They wanted to look into mixing this biotorrified wood thing, mix it right in with their coal to meet their requirements and all that sort of thing, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not either. They're still in negotiations with all those things. I'm thinking the diesel for the trucks is probably going to win, because they have to do, it's time. They have to move. Anyway, that's what's happening in Arizona.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.